So who were your early influences from Cross Atlantic on the Lynwood side when you got there?
Well, you know, the thing about it was I'm through and through Cross Atlantic. You know what I mean? And like I say, we got Lynwood, we got Bompton. You know what I mean? My early influences was Dre Gee. You know what I mean? Andre Williams, my big homie, who he molded me. Alex, he had more faith in me than I had in me. You know what I mean? He took me to my first gang meeting, and you know, I ain't trying to put the big homie out there, but on everything, homie. He took me to my first gang meeting and everything. You know what I mean? And I never forget when we first moved to the hood. My mom was like, "Them two dudes down at the corner from the neighbors, you know, y'all stay away from them." You know what I mean? But my big homie Dre Gee and my brother was the exact same age. Birthdays on the exact same day. You know what I mean? So, well, I get to fuck with Dre Gee and running around, you know, bam, he asked me, "Hey, you meet the little homies on this street? You meet the man, I done met all the little homies around here." So Dre Gee, like, back then we used to hang out in elementary schools. That's what it was. All the discipline, all the meetings, everything was in the elementary school. So one day, me and Dre Gee, he like, "Man, let's go up to the elementary school, man. Come on, dog, let's roll." I went to this elementary school, Janie P. Abbott. You know what I mean? And so we get up to the elementary school to go hang out. They up there having a gang meeting. You know what I mean? The Cross Atlantic's having a gang meeting. So he like, "Well, shit, it is what it is. Let me introduce you to the homies." You know what I mean? My G homie D-Dog was really running the meeting. He was the general at the time. He putting it down. You know what I mean? And I meet some, you know, they looked at me like, they looked at Dre like, "Dre, who is this? Who is this kid?" Because they on some real gang activity. Who is this dude? And they like, "Man, it's my little homie, you know, live on my block." Ooh. And Dre molded me. He took care of me. He taught me taught me the rules of this shit. You know what I mean? And you don't run from nobody. You take or run all your phase, win, lose, or draw. He taught me the morals and values of what it was to be across Atlantic. You know what I mean?
And just, we're not trying to put Dre Gee out there, but for those who don't understand, him being the same age as your brother, you basically had a little brother, big brother relationship with him.
Yeah.
It's not about, you know, a lot of people just think, "Oh, this guy's out there recruiting."
No.
It ain't about that.
It wasn't that.
It's about a relationship you develop.
We developed
and
a
you
relationship.
saw a big brother in him.
No doubt. And he protected me. Because when it came down to it, now Dre Gee wasn't a big homie in the hood though. You know what I mean? We had G's way, you know, over Dre Gee. It was just I grew up on Dre Street and Dre had my back and made sure that, and I never forget, Dre Gee got into it with one of the super G's, came home from the pen. And I had an issue with him because he had been going to the pen. He didn't know me. You know what I mean? Came home from the pen. Who is this? Blah, blah, blah. We had a situation. And I watched Dre Gee get down with his super OG, you know what I mean, for me. You know what I mean? And that was a squad. I mean, they got down. You know what I mean? And the super G that came home, the hood teamed up on him. "Hold on, homie. That's the baby homie." You know what I mean? To the point to where the super G homie came, knocked on my door, Alex, and was like, "Hey, man, hey. The whole hood behind you, homie. My apologies. Here you go." You know what I mean? You know, and
y'all were the youngsters.
I'm talking about young though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Should no kid at this time had that much love in the hood? You know what I mean? I'm talking at this time. I'm talking 13 years old. You know what I mean? You know, I'm talking about I was a kid. You know, we look at it. Back in the day, like when we was 13, like we was tough, dude, that's a baby. You know what I mean? You know, when I look at my kids at 30, that's a baby. You know what I mean? And the whole hood went to bat for me, and that was the beginning of an era right there.
So from there on, it was full-fledged Cross Atlantic.
No motherfucking doubt. But you know, the thing about it was this, you know, even though we was portioned right there in Lynwood on the border of Compton, you know what I mean? 90% of the shit we did is Compton. You know what I mean? Because ain't no more Pirus in Lynwood. We beefing with the Lynwood end hoods. We beefing with the Pope Streets. We beefing with the Palm and Oaks. You know what I mean? And then when you got a certain, what can I say? You got a certain instinct about you. You know, you want to travel. So we gonna hang out at East Compton Park with the Lime hoods. Them our number one. Them our tightest. You know, them our dogs. We gonna go up to Ludus Park, you know what I mean? You gonna venture out to other neighborhoods, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, by the time you cutting your teeth when all these hoods in Compton, you know what I mean? You in. Now, the reality of it is, I lived in Lynwood which I didn't realize, I lived in Lynwood from 82 to 89. You know what I mean? You know, cut my teeth with the wood. I would swear up and down that I'm thorough, you know, Lynwood. But I only lived there from 82 to 89. I lived in Compton from 90 to the rest of my, you know, till I was enough to move out to get away from the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So when you go do the math and you talk about the east side of Compton, this is really what it was. You know what I mean? You know, this small border, a lot of people may say, damn, you claim 2 cities? No, I claim 2 streets because there's only 2 streets to separate us. You know what I mean? You know, and so when I come up, you know, I cut my teeth with the Lime Hoods, the Elm Streets, the Looters Parks, the Mob. You know, I mean, you know, I'm an east side. Back then it was ESP. I felt like all this shit was my neighborhood, Alex. You know what I mean?
Now, even a little bit of Mob Pirus in Lynwood too.
Yeah.
Y'all aren't the only hood that's...
No, we not the only ones. You got Mob, they got Lynwood addresses, the Palm and Oaks. They claim Lynwood, but they got Compton addresses. It's just that border come right through all our neighborhood, and you know what I mean? You got 2 sides, you know what I mean? You know, if you go to StreetGangs.com or something like that, they gonna show that we a Compton gang. Yeah. But I can't leave out the Lynwood. You know what I mean? That's kind of really what it was, cutting our teeth. Later on, it was really, like I say now, it's 95% Compton, what the homies claiming, because when the parents got to losing those houses or selling their houses, Hispanics was buying them up. You know what I mean? So now all the homies who came are from the hood now, you know, they straight up bombed it. You know what I mean?
Now you mentioned that you go to Looters, you go to these other parks. Even though you're Cross Atlantic, you're also East Side Pirus.
East Side Pirus.
Talk about because there's kind of like 2 identities. You know?
It is. So for some, it'd be like this. I got some homies who they straight up Cross Atlantic. You know what I mean? They function in Cross Atlantic. They do what Cross Atlantics do. They with the hood 100%, but they don't venture out and you know, they might mingle with the other homies, and there's nothing against how they feel. Some of us, homie, we gonna take this shit further. You know what I mean? If I'm in the Elm Street and somebody come through, I'm riding with the Elm. Ain't no question about it. If I'm in the Lime Hoods and the motherfuckers come through, I'm gonna ride with the Lime. And that's how we cut our teeth, you know what I mean, through the east side, because at one point, to be honest with you, Looters Park, Mob, Cross Atlantic, Holly, all that was Looters Park. It was all Looters Park. You know what I mean? It was all one hood. You know what I mean? So it ain't no different from like how the Swans, they break it up. This 7-9 Swan, this 8-0 Swan, this 8-4 Swan. It's all Swan. You know what I mean? So when the homies broke it up into, you know, because back in the day it was, you know, they got new shit now, Alex. You know what I mean? You got the LAC. That's Looters, Atlantic, and Cedar. That's how they rock. You got the NWA. That's the Nellas, the West Side, and the Anthers. That's how they rock. You know, I come from back when it was Cedar Am, Looters Mob, Cross Atlantic, Lime Hood. You know what I mean? And the Lime Hoods, I love them dudes dearly, homie. You know what I mean? Them dudes, that's my other hood over there.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description, and thanks for watching StreetTV.net.